Hello, my name is Jordan Machun. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about myself with you. I'm currently a teacher and coach at Nimitz High School in Irving. I coach volleyball and soccer, and I teach professional communications. This past May in 2020, I finished my master's in education and guidance and counseling, and I am super excited about the opportunity to actually become a counselor and use all of the knowledge and skills that I gained in order to do that. So I am going to share some answers to the questions that you sent over. Okay, so the first question talks about how I build relationships with students and parents. So I think, first of all, that building relationships with students and parents is really important for a counselor. It's important for anyone in the education field, but I feel like especially for counselors, since we deal with students, not only their schedules and academics, but also emotional issues that they may be facing, and they have to feel comfortable enough with us to open up and talk about those issues that they're having. So one way that I typically build relationships with my students is I try to really get on their level. I try to find out, what their interests are, what their strengths are, what some challenges they have at home are, and I really try to talk with them and have conversations with them, even if it's not daily, at least, once or twice a week while they're in my classroom. There was a student that I had this year, and he is actually an in-person learner. So, he has more of an opportunity to turn in work and participate in class. And all he was wanting to do during class was sleep. And, I finally went over to him and I talked to him about why he was so tired all the time. And it turns out that he is working at McDonald's until at least midnight on most weeknights to help support his family because his parents both lost their jobs due to COVID. And of course, this broke my heart, to hear that a high school, I think he's a sophomore, is having to, help support his family like he is. But that's a reality for a lot of our students. And, so after I had a conversation with him about how I understood what he was going through, and, I was proud of him for helping his family and talking to him about how, finishing his education could actually help him get a good job after high school to really help support his family. He's completely made a 180 in my class. All of a sudden he's, turning in his work, and he's, talking to me almost on a daily basis now. And I really feel like it's because I went over and I initiated a conversation and just asked kind of what was wrong. And I think he really appreciated that. And I think most students, they just want somebody to care about them, and they want somebody who they can talk to and share their experiences with. So I feel as a counselor, I would be really good at listening to students and, figuring out what their needs are and building relationships with them that way. As far as parents are concerned, as a teacher right now, I feel that communication, really constant communication is key, as far as building relationships with them is concerned. I always try to express my utmost, support for their child, and try to convey that to them as I'm communicating, but also be, honest with them. I think that once they know that somebody cares truly about their student, they are really open to trusting that person with their child, and will listen to what, you have to say to them. Question number 2 asks how I ensure that every student is placed in correct courses and they are on track to graduate. As a counselor, this is one of the most important aspects of the job. We are constantly having to check student transcripts to ensure that they have the correct number of credits for the grade level that they're in. And it's also important to make sure that students have a say in the courses that they are taking. For example, I know at my school, every student is supposed to have an endorsement to graduate. and that involves choosing certain CTE classes to be involved in. And one of the ways that our counselors at my current school help students decide that is by having a kind of day with the Vikings day. And what that entails is a group of kids put on basically kind of a show about the class that they're in, and students get to go around and learn about each of the pathways. So I think that's a really great way for them to understand really what class they're getting into and what endorsement they really want to have in high school. And then this makes the job easier for counselors as well, because students have already seen all of these activities and things that they would be doing in class. So they kind of have an idea of what they would like to be endorsed in high school. Another thing that counselors really need to be sure of is that if students have failed or not earned credit for a course, they need to make sure that the student is immediately placed either back into that course to earn credit or in another course such as like a credit recovery so that they can earn that credit if it's a class that they really need to graduate. For example, English 1, or if they fail algebra, they would need to be placed back into those classes in order to gain their credit that they need. Another way that counselors ensure that students are on track to graduate is by doing transcript audits. And this should be done throughout the year, multiple times, especially for seniors, just to ensure that they are in the correct courses and that they are on track to graduate. And if they're not, immediate changes need to be made in order to ensure that those students are able to graduate on time. Question number 3 asks about my definition of a counselor of excellence. I believe a counselor of excellence is someone who ensures that students' needs are met both academically and emotionally. They also should ensure that students have the skills that they need for after they graduate high school, whether that is going into a post-secondary education or if that's to, transition into a job. I believe that I fit this role because I'm passionate about helping students achieve their goals. I've helped many students prepare for life after high school through my professional communications course, as well as my coaching responsibilities. And I believe that in a counseling role, I could do that even more. I will continue to push myself to grow. I am a very fast learner, but I definitely have things that I need to still learn about counseling. And I am very open to taking any feedback, open to any and all ideas, as well as staying a part of the counseling community and keeping up with professional development throughout my counseling journey. Question number 3 also asks how I would build rapport, trust, and collaboration with teachers and staff. I believe as a former athlete and now coach firmly in teamwork. I believe that teamwork and collaboration make everyone stronger. So I am definitely open to working closely with my colleagues and building relationships with them and asking questions when I need help. I know that I am going to have questions about things, and I know that I'm going to need my colleagues. So I am open to being there for them, and hopefully that they would be there for me as well. I think in order to build trust and respect from anyone, you have to have open lines of communication and be available to them, whenever possible. So I would work really hard in order to build everyone's trust so that we could have a successful working relationship. Thank you again for this opportunity to share a little bit about myself, and I hope to be hearing from you soon. Bye.